Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Peter here. Today's video is a first impressions video for the house of Sonoma Scent Studio. That's a good boy. Most of these are all natural. There are a few that use some synthetics, but they're kind of mostly all natural. So I've got all these lovely little samples to go through, and I'm just going to give you kind of my thoughts on them after I've been testing them for a while. I'm going to do full reviews for a few of them or all of them eventually. So we'll start off with one of probably the most popular one from the house. It's called Winter Woods, and I'll read you the little card. It says, "Warm up with this cozy blend of ambered woods and a touch of wood smoke, perfect for fall and winter." This is really nice. It is very cozy and warming. I get a lot of sandalwood, but it's blended with resins. It smells a lot like a combination of myrrh and sandalwood. There is a very subtle sweetness that I think is more than just the resins. Almost like a honeyed sweetness. Like I can imagine there being a little bit of honey in here. But it's really nice. It's woodsy, it's ambery, it's warm, it's slightly sweet. It's very, very cozy. I don't really get much of the smoke. I think it's very, very light. But there is meant to be kind of like a very touch, like a smaller little amount of like charred wood and you know, a little bit of campfire smoke. This is definitely one of my favourites from the entire line. It is very, very nice. It's just so pleasant. I can't explain it in words, but it's just lovely to smell. It's just cozy and nice and very relaxing and chill. Exactly what it says, you know, perfect for fall and winter. It's very nice, definitely perfect for fall and winter. Very cozy, warming, comforting kind of smell. Rich woods and ambers, really. Pacific Forest. Sunlight filters through the trees as you walk your favourite path. Smell the earthy forest floor, tree bark and tree needles all married to a smooth amber base. And this is over 99% natural. So, you know. This again is one of my favourites, but hard to describe this one. I get a lot of, I think, like pine resins or elm resin or something along those lines, where it smells like tree sap resins. That there is like kind of like a pine kind of green feeling, but I get a lot of the ambers. There's like I said, it's very resinous and slightly sweet again, but there's also a freshness to it that's kind of hard to describe. I actually think this is very difficult to kind of describe in words how it smells. It's one you have to kind of experience, but it's refreshing in a way because it has this coolness about it. It's like a forest green but with warm ambers surrounding it, and a kind of an unusual sweetness, which might be just sweetness from the different kinds of resins. It's very, very natural smelling, obviously, because it is natural, but very nice and kind of unusual. I've never really smelled anything like that one before. Fireside Incense. Recapture a night by a toasty campfire. Leather top notes soften into a base of smoky woods and oak moss. I think this one is cool. I definitely get birch tar, so it smells quite smoky, and charred woods and a combination of different kind of woods. A lot of cedar. And you do definitely get the leather, and to me it smells like more like an aged brown leather, but it's soft. It's a soft brown leather with this sort of billowing kind of charred wood and smoke. It's not quite along the same lines of something like Imaginary Authors, A City on Fire. That one is very a different kind of smoke. That one's not birch tar. I'm not sure what that is, but it's not along those kind of lines. This is more like, here's a damp, charred piece of wood, a very, very photorealistic smell, mixed with this kind of leather accord. It is nice, and some people might find it too smoky, but I actually quite enjoy birch tar. I think that's really nice. Incense Pure. Indulge in this resinous blend of sandalwood with many fine naturals, including frankincense, myrrh, Labdanum, Angelica Root, Elm and Vanilla Absolute. So what I mostly get from this, I think, is kind of the even blend of myrrh and frankincense. You get the kind of the slightly sweet warm myrrh and a very fresh, clean kind of frankincense olibanum. And you definitely get the sandalwood as well. Imagine a very kind of dusty, old, matured kind of sandalwood. Very natural smelling, with a blend of myrrh, warm sweets, and the cooling of the frankincense. The vanilla is subtle, it's not particularly sweet. What I like about this is, yes, it's an incense fragrance, but there's no smoke, and I think those are the best kind of incense fragrances. I actually don't particularly like incense-based fragrances that have a smoky note. I prefer the more pure, the pure resins. Amber incense. Smooth your spirits with this warm and meditative blend of amber incense, soft florals and woods, bright pepper, plum and apricot, all natural for men and women. Again, this is quite unusual. This one is very, again, resinous, slightly sweet in an unusual way. It almost has like a boozy kind of sweetness, slightly to the amber, which I can't really. Maybe that's the plum actually. There is kind of, it's more like a fermenting kind of fruit smell, like what you would imagine something slightly going boozy. So it doesn't strike you as being a juicy purple plum. It's more kind of fermenting, slightly alcoholic a little bit, but it's for subtle. It's more about definitely more about the ambers. I don't particularly detect the pepper. Tobac, AUREA. Men and women are smitten with this addicted blend of amber, woods, pipe tobacco, leather, patchouli, spices and tonka bean. So a lot of these fragrances contain ambers. You definitely get the tonka bean and the leather. It's very, very smooth, and the pipe tobacco is very realistic, kind of dry kind of tobacco, slightly spiced tobacco. Considering I'm not a fan of tobacco fragrances, it's actually quite nice, but it feels soft, like it's not potent and strong and in your face. It actually feels like it sits closer to the skin and it's more mellow. But you definitely notice the leather, and you definitely get the dry kind of tobacco. It's quite nice. Cocoa Sandalwood is actually my least favourite from the house. This one I don't particularly like, being completely honest. All natural blend with Cocoa Absolute, New Caledonia Sandalwood, Creamy Peach, Rose Spices and Amberette. A delicious unisex gourmand. So what I immediately notice is a perfect blend between sandalwood and Cocoa Absolute, and I have Cocoa Absolute at home. So it's a super thick, resinous kind of. It's very hard to use Cocoa Absolute because it's so thick and full of sediment and bits, and you have to filter it heavily when you finish blending with it. It's a little bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But it's like dark, thick chocolate, like a cocoa bean. It's not like particularly a bar of chocolate. It's more kind of like a dark cocoa, powdery slightly. But the way it mixes with the sandalwood, I'm just not keen on. I don't know. There's just certain kinds of chocolate notes that I'm not keen on. So this one isn't for me. But if you like natural cocoa and sandalwood combined, this is exactly what this is. It's just not my personal taste. But it's a very, obviously, again, photorealistic cocoa note. It's just blended evenly with sandalwood. Those are my first impressions. My favourites from the line are probably Winter Woods and Pacific Forest and Fireside and Tense. I will be doing full reviews for all of them, so keep an eye out for those. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. Take care, guys.